Hello, everyone. So, if you're feeling a lot of emotions like thoughts, feelings, desires, and you just wake up and this is how you're going about your day, and you're just, oh man, this is a lot of chaos. I don't know about all this. This is not really enjoyable. Well, actually, we don't need to live at the whim of all of these things coming up. And most of the time, we will tend to be reactive in everything that we do if we are identified with these thoughts. There's a cure to this, though. There's absolutely a cure. But we first have to understand what's going on. Can we just. No one is an oasis of bliss. Okay, you could be walking down the street and most people, if someone looks at them the wrong way, then the rest of their day they'll be pitying themselves. Now some people are a little better at this, but the truth is we we are easily triggered, and very in certain domains of life, whether it be about money, relationships, we are instantly reactive, and we come from a place of fear. Oh, I don't think I can get a relationship. I got to go on dating apps, and then I'll actually have pleasure and I'll have happiness or something. And we're seeking this externally, and this is a reactive way of being. So what is going on here? Well, basically we have trapped light. Okay, and this comes in the form of the ego, which takes control of this human machine. And there's three primary centers in this human machine. We have the mind, we have the heart, and we have the physical body, where we like do things and desire and crave things. So there's this multitude of chaos going on. It could be a thought in the intellectual center. And then we have feelings in the heart, and we have desires in our body. Okay, so when we're identified with this, we're basically just stuck. So why are we stuck? Because there's going to be pain and pleasure as much as we are identified with any of these three brains. So, for example, if you have a craving in your physical center, then you might get a burst of pleasure when you satisfy that craving. Like maybe you really want a cookie. Um, I'm not saying this is bad, but as an example, like you have a physical craving, an ego within you wants a cookie. So you feel the pleasure when you eat it, and then you feel the pain when that crashes, and then you feel like the light that you experienced is lost. Or you go out to a party. It feels good, but then afterwards you get a hangover and you're super sad, and then somehow things just aren't working out in your life because you've been like finding all most of your pleasure by going to parties and drinking or doing drugs, whatever it is. So what's going on? This is inevitable, that the pleasure will lead to pain. The pain will lead to pleasure. This is the pendulum of the material world. And as long as we are identified with what is happening externally, it is inevitable that we will be at the whim of our external circumstances, and that will dictate our pain or pleasure. And we will be stuck in either pain or pleasure. And that's super limiting, because even when you get pleasure, it'll last for like a few seconds and then it'll be gone, or maybe a few minutes. So, and the rest of the time, you're feeling lack. This is this is like a very, I mean, think about that. Like your pleasure is dictated on something that will last a few seconds, and all the time until then, you don't even feel whole because you don't have that external pleasure. So it's like you're chasing, and when you finally get the thing, you get it, you're happy, and then you chase, chase, chase. Okay, great. This is what's going on. This is the situation. All right, so that's the pendulum. First thing we got to do is realize that this is a thing, because as long as we are deluded that we can actually get the long lasting sense of happiness that comes from this pendulum, no, it's not going to happen. So we need to realize that this is the situation at hand. So the way we could think about this is like, it's like this pendulum is like paint on a canvas. So you have thoughts, you have feelings, you have desires. It's all like paint on a canvas. It's all being um, kind of just thrown at this canvas. And as long as you're identified with it, it's going to be very superficial, short-term pleasure. However, it's on the canvas. So if you're the canvas, then it doesn't matter if whatever you're experiencing is pleasurable or painful. It doesn't matter because you're on the canvas, and the canvas is infinite. And here's the moral of this video. All right, this is where everything, your mind can truly just expand. This limited way of how we can live will be completely obliterated, and we can be extremely unlimited. We can be the king of our circumstances if we implement this. So be the canvas, which means no matter what is going on, you are completely certain and you are observing it. So we observe it. We don't identify with the paint. We only identify with the canvas. This is very important. It means that everything is perfect when you're on the canvas because it doesn't matter what is on it. Okay, so now here's the thing. All right, in the paint is trapped light. All of this stuff that we're going through in our day-to-day life, when these thoughts arise, it's like all this darkness that we experience. We get triggered, we get angry, we get a desire, we get whatever it is, self-pity. We don't need to run away from this, and by being the observer, we can starve it of energy and feed more energy into the canvas. So the paint actually holds the trapped light. And when we experience it, it is actually a gift from divinity for us to expand our connection to this canvas, which brings more and more light into our life. So actually, in these three brains, when we have a thought, like let's say we have a thought about self-pity, and then we start pitying ourselves, and like everything, we're just, how can I take externally? How can I receive a compliment or get something to feel better about all of this self-pity and lack that I feel right now? So this is a reactive way of feeling the paint. But if we're on the canvas, we say, actually, this is perfect. This is trapped light. I feel this self-pity, and within the darkness of this feeling of lack is actually light. And if I can starve the self-pity, if I can be completely certain that it is light that wants to reveal itself, then you are grateful for the self-pity. And now you are proactive. And instead of being reactive to the self-pity and identifying with it and giving it energy and allowing it to drain your vibration to be low so that you can become a taker, now you're the canvas and you're proactively transforming the darkness of this paint into more light. So you're expanding your canvas to bring in more spiritual and physical abundance. And your life completely changes because it changes internally. And when it changes internally, you get whatever you want. You get the money, you get the relationships, and it doesn't even matter because internally you've already kind of expanded yourself to enjoy this. And it doesn't matter what's happening externally because you already have everything you could ever want internally. And the beauty of this is the certainty in it, so that no matter what the paint is, you're on the canvas of infinity. How limited it would be to be identified with the pain and pleasure duality when you can be infinite. You can be infinitely beyond that. So anyways, this self-pity arises, and instead of being reactive and identifying with the self-pity and then going into situations feeling low and like, how can I get people to look at me and like feed me? You know, it's like we're going into places. How can you feed me? I feel low energy. Feed me energy. No. Okay? But we can be proactive with this instead of being reactive and observe it. Be the canvas. Observe this narrative. Observe the thought and be grateful for it, because it is in this thought that there is light that wants to be transformed. It's just in the darkness of this thought. And if we think the self-pity is real and super justified, then it stays darkness and it just continues to bury us and trap us. And we're not in control that way. But we can be in control by being grateful for it and observing it and knowing that it is light that is being transformed. And if we can be grateful for that darkness, then we are proactive. And now we go into situations and we're like, yes, I love, if this can be arising within me, then this is great. I can just increase my spiritual vibration and I can attract more physically, and I have spiritual abundance. So we go into situations giving this way. We are proactive. And when people trigger us and make us angry, but we stay on the canvas, then we are grateful for this trigger because it's like, oh, I can expand my canvas. I can expand my peace and spiritual abundance by experiencing anything that triggers. It's like bringing up the trapped light. So this is, a lot of us try to run away from the darkness, but what we want to do is be super grateful for it and run into it, because really the darkness is actually light. It's just trapped. It's just trapped. How else are you supposed to be super confident if you don't experience and consciously transform what it's like to feel super insecure? You have to go into the insecurity and lean into it. That's the only way it can be transformed. So we need to stop ignoring it and being identified with the pain and pleasure, and be super certain in what we are experiencing. When we feel doubt, when we feel like pitying ourselves or being angry, or this is the help. This is the light that we can access. And the more we run away from it, the more we just guardrail ourselves and keep ourselves super limited, so that we can only experience the joy when we're not around that. But it'll keep coming back. It'll keep coming back. So it's much better to conquer this, whatever is arising for you, so that you can transform it into light. And then you don't have to worry about controlling your external circumstances to avoid the darkness, because you're proactively leaning into any darkness, so that no matter where you are, you're just increasing your vibration. And when you do that, not only do you internally feel more whole, but externally things change as well. So I hope that this is helpful. And if there's anything you guys want to touch on more, let me know. Peace out.